I have to decline. Can't stand the sight of blood. Not so much as a paper cut.
Alright, this is a scumbag. An absolute scumbag who only thinks highly of himself, who thinks for himself, and does not give a shit about anyone else. That's the main guy we're introduced to off the bat. I wanted to cover this one for two reasons. Number one being, it's interesting to see the trajectory of the character over the course of the entire film. And number two, he's just the kind of character that is lifted straight from a Eastern media. And it's very interesting for me personally because you don't really get to see a lot of characters being interpreted by Western actors that are intended for a more Eastern audience, and to see their interpretation of what that character would be like, to me, is interesting, and I feel like it might be for you too. And that's where the core of the analysis today will be centering this character and its provenance from an Eastern literary franchise, specifically All You Need Is Kill. That one is one of the few, if not the only, proper adaptation that has ever been put to film, especially in a blockbuster sense. And I'm very curious to see how that stacks up from an acting perspective. Why both the transition of the scene, but also the acting on both scenes is genius on the part of Tom Cruise here. First of all, he's told, hey, you're a fish out of water, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to fight, you're a coward, you're a sleazy guy, you only look out for yourself. But you've had a change of heart. Granted, it's a change of heart that came a little too late, but it's a change of heart nonetheless. And then you're told that in the following scene, you're going to act out a guy who just found out that he just died and was really resigned to that fate. Or not quite resigned, but knowing he had no other choice but took the bite anyway. That's the kind of guy he is. And then he wakes up in the next scene only to find out that, oh, actually, not only I'm alive and well, but I might just be crazy. What the hell am I looking at? Am I dreaming? Am I having a deja vu moment? Is any of this real? He's playing this character so well up to that point, to be honest. A little too well, actually. This is not the kind of acting you would expect from, not to be mean or anything, but this feels like a typical Michael Bay explosion type of movie. This is not the kind of film you expect some serious acting out of. And yet, they take the source material seriously. They take the character seriously. And Tom Cruise, in particular, really understood the assignment here in terms of really bringing this character to life, in terms of being a fish out of water who doesn't quite understand what is happening to him, or what has happened to him up to that point after he gained his powers, but he's willing to take you there with him in that confusion. And I really respect the commitment to portraying a guy who is not exactly the kind of character that he's known to be playing, very stoic, very in charge of everything, very knowledgeable, very capable. That is not that guy. And honestly, the fact that he's Tom Cruise, not distracting me from the fact that he's incompetent, to me, that this is a fantastically well acted film, to be honest. And I'm saying that as someone who typically, I don't enjoy action movies that much. I just go into it thinking it's just pure dumb fun. But yeah, they actually brought some serious chops to this, and shout out to both actors for making this whole thing come alive. See you on the next one, and recommend me some stuff to review.